Hey everyone, my name's Jeremy, and today I'll be going over my push-down automata for our second workshop. So I'll start with the high-level explanation before I get into the actual PDA. I based it off Pokemon Red and Blue. It's kind of a loose comparison, honestly, because there's a lot of things to do in the game, and you only have one memory stack in a PDA, but I tried to represent the most I could. The specific scenario I had in mind was that you just got to Celadon City, so you can either go to the game corner or you can go to the few new routes that opened up and catch Pokemon. So looking at the J flap here, you start by looping in as much money as you want. You don't have to do any. The entire program can run on no money and you just have an R and then it ends. But that wouldn't be fun. So let's say for example you loop 3 Ps, then you have an R, and in order for the string to be accepted, you have to spend the P's somehow. Now at the game corner, you have to lose 3 times, or you can tie, which doesn't do anything, essentially, or you have to win. But winning gains you another P. So let's say you do P, 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 R, W, and then you have to have 4 losses. Or you can run over to the Pokemart, buy a Pokeball, and then catch a Pokemon. I tried doing this in 2 states where you could actually reserve the Pokeballs, but it wasn't possible because I didn't have 2 stacks available to me. If I had 2 stacks, I would have been able to keep track of how many Pokeballs you were buying too. That would have been cool, and hopefully I can do that in the next workshop with Turing machines. But if I can't, oh well. But either way, this is what I ended up with here. The language definition, it's a little different, but it explains it as well as I could. I really tried defining it in the way that we did with our last one, like with the finite automata, and I could not do it for the life of me. So I ended up doing it this way. So all strings over the alphabet obey the following rules. Begins with any amount of P's followed by an R. Contains one B or L for every P, and it contains one B or L for every W. So I realize I don't have to include the W here, but I think it's easier when you're typing out the string to just kind of realize that like W and P are basically the same thing. And it's kind of bold to assume that you'll know that W is adding another P. So I kind of lay it out here saying, hey, W and P are literally the same thing. Uh, can only contain a T if there is a P, and can only contain W's if there are P's. And now this was a woozy to write, but I think it explains as best as I could explain it. So it'll contain one R between B and T, W, or L. So for example, you can't buy a Pokeball and then tie at the game corner. You have to buy the Pokeball, run to the game corner, and then you can tie. And vice versa. You can't win and then buy. You have to win, run, and then buy. That was essentially what I was trying to say with this. My context-free language here. Zoom in. So here it is. It's pretty long, and I have it accept any string S. So S turns to A turns into this mess. But essentially what this is saying is that it has a Pokédollar, but it has to spend it somehow. So A can turn into a loss, or not A, but if you have a Pokédollar, you either have to lose, which is what I do for the first two, or you have to buy a Pokeball because you have to spend it in order for the string to be accepted. And eventually, once you decipher through all of this, it'll end up being correct. I can run a string or two through this, and then I'll also run it through my high-level language to just show that they are equivalent. The screen sharing thing's in the way. There we go. We'll do step by state. So any number of P's, we'll do 3. Then we'll run, and we will win. Then we'll run to the Pokemart, spend 2 balls, run back. We'll tie twice. And then we will lose twice. And this should be an accepted string. So step, step, step. And here's a little bit of non-determinism coming in because when you run, it doesn't know where you're at yet until the next input. So now that I input the W, it goes, oh, you weren't at the Pokemart, you're at the game corner. And I run over, spend $2 on the Pokemart, run back, tie, tie, lose, lose, and the string's accepted. And I'll input the same string here. So PPP, RWR, BBR, TTLL. So there you go. It's accepted there. And just for the fun of it, I'll do one that won't be accepted. So we'll have $4. You run, run, run. Then we'll win, lose, lose, run, buy. And that'll be it. And that won't be accepted because there's $2 left. So we'll run that in my high level demonstration here too. And there you go, it said string failed. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this was a relatively simple PDA, but it did have some complex elements to it. There's a lot of, like, everything had a self loop, and there was a lot of non-determinism going on. So it kind of, it looks a lot simpler than what it was when I had to eventually code the high level language and come up with the language and stuff. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.